Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to One Woke Thoughts. We've got a big show for you today. Yes, a great show. Big show. Lots to talk about. Lots going on. Joe Biden, of course, he gave his speech to the United States, and it was a great one, right? But first thing we're going to talk about today is Elon Musk. He attended Benjamin Netanyahu's speech as Netanyahu's personal guest, where a reporter asked about his supposed donations to Donald Trump. And he said, and I quote, "I did not donate to the Trump campaign." Sounds kind of like when Bill Clinton said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." But Elon Musk said, "I did not donate to the Trump campaign." Then he went on and he said, "It was a fiction written by the Wall Street Journal." So looks like, I think I've already talked about this, but looks like Elon Musk, that came out of thin air. Does the mainstream media, do they lie like that? No way. That doesn't actually happen. That's weird. But apparently the Wall Street Journal, not accurate on that one. But John Fetterman was also in attendance at the Netanyahu speech. And guys, you're not going to believe this. This is absolutely incredible. He showed up in a suit. John Fetterman, yes, senator from Pennsylvania, showed up in a suit. Very incredible. And, you know, I really didn't even know he owned any clothing other than a hoodie. Remember that was a big controversy for a while? John Fetterman, he would show up to all of these like events that required, you know, a suit and tie, but he would show up in a hoodie. But no, apparently America gets the hoodie and he saves the suit for Netanyahu. I may be slightly offended by that. I just might be slightly offended by that. But before leaving the Capitol, once again, we're going to look at Elon Musk. He was once again caught by the reporters where they asked him about his beef with Mark Zuckerberg. And Elon Musk responded that he would take Zuck anytime and any place. And I was like, that's just what we need to make 2024 even more insane. A couple billionaires fighting in a ring. I mean, what? Why not, right? Why not? But Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly brought baskets of his dirty laundry for U.S. staff to wash. Why? I have no idea, but apparently he does this every time he visits. It's a little bit weird. Donald Trump held a massive rally in Charlotte, North Carolina. And while flying back on Trump Force One, almost said Air Force One, God willing, after November, Air Force One, right? But while he was flying back, he watched Biden's first address to the nation since dropping out of the race. And I have a picture of Trump posing next to the TV in Trump Force One, and he looks very proud. The victor. Biden dropped out, couldn't even finish. So, great picture. But there are conspiracy theories flying around that Joe Biden wasn't really in the Oval Office during his speech, and that it was actually not live. It wasn't live. It was a recording, not live. But you kind of got to wonder at this point, are the conspiracy theories the more likely possibility? It sure is beginning to seem so. Wisconsin voters don't like Kamla Harris too much, it looks like. And during an MSNBC segment, one voter even calls her an idiot. Yes, this was live on MSNBC, MSDNC, if you will. They probably weren't too happy with that one. But we're going to stay on the MSNBC topic for a second. According to an MSNBC contributor, it is disrespectful to call Kamala Harris Kamala, like standalone Kamala. But don't worry, I'll let you know what you can call her instead. Don't worry. I'll let you know. And finally, Barack Obama tweets out honoring Joe Biden after Biden addressed the nation. But has he endorsed Kamala Harris? We'll take a look at his Twitter and see if we can find anything out. But before we get into the show, ladies and gentlemen, if you could leave a like on this video, it would really help me out a lot. Gets me seen in more feeds. And if you enjoy this video, maybe even consider subscribing. But let's get into it, guys. Elon Musk attended Netanyahu's speech before Congress as his personal guest. Yes, he was asked about this, and that's what he said. Listen.
For the Netanyahu address today?
I am.
You plan to attend?
I do.
And whose guest are you?
Netanyahu.
Okay.
Could you speak to President Trump about making
For the Netanyahu.
You hear that? And whose guest are you? I am Netanyahu's guest. So very interesting. Elon Musk attending Netanyahu's speech as Netanyahu's personal guest. Interesting. I didn't know the two were particularly close, but I guess they are. I guess Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, according to reports. Well, the richest man in the world that we know of, I guess. So Netanyahu keeping close ties on Elon Musk, it seems. Elon Musk is asked about donating to Donald Trump's campaign. And he says, I did not donate to the Trump campaign. And he also says that it was a fiction written by the Wall Street Journal. Listen.
Mr. Musk, are you still going to donate to Trump? Do you still donate $45 million? I'm sorry?
At no point did I say that I was donating $45 million a month to Trump. That was a fiction made up by the Wall Street Journal.
Mr. Musk, are you still going to...
So there you have it right there, guys. I believe Trump himself even said that on stage during one of his rallies. But, I mean, you can't really blame him because he probably read it in the Wall Street Journal just like everyone else did. Or, I mean, I don't know where I saw it. I think I just saw it on Twitter. And then I read it in maybe the New York Times or one of those outlets. But for some reason, the Wall Street Journal got some indication that Elon Musk was donating $43 million a month to a Trump super PAC. But that is not the case. Elon Musk has spoke to this prior to yesterday, and he said that he was making a PAC himself for, what did he say? Libertarian candidates or something like that. Candidates that were pro-meritocracy. I believe that's what it was. For pro-meritocracy candidates. And I can only assume that means he's donating money to Donald Trump. Trump is pro-meritocracy. Kamla Harris, not so much. Let's just say she's probably pro-DEI, as was Joe Biden. I mean, just look at his vice president for 3.5 years. Pretty incredible. But during Netanyahu's speech, Elon Musk sat next to Douglas McMurray.
Tragically, they were killed.
Right here, right to his right, your left. That's Douglas McMurray, intellectual. I don't know if you guys have heard any of his debates, any of his speeches. Pretty good speaker. Following Netanyahu's speech, though, Elon Musk was apparently leaving the Capitol here, and he says that he will fight Zuckerberg any place, anytime, any rules. Listen.
I mean, I'll fight him. I'll fight Zuckerberg any place, anytime, any rules.
Can I get a picture with you? No, sir, sorry. Can I get a picture with Zuckerberg?
So he kind of chuckles a little bit after that. Because the report, I mean, this has been going on for a while now. I mean, I think it was like 3-4 years ago. He was talking about fighting Zuckerberg. And I thought for a second there, they actually set a time for the fight or a date for the fight, but someone backed out or it just didn't happen. It didn't materialize. So it's almost like it's been an ongoing joke for several years now, Elon Musk fighting Zuckerberg. And while I do love Elon Musk a lot, I appreciate him. The Zuck, I think, would have that fight. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a fan of Zuckerberg. But the guy has been training for years now. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, martial arts, been working out. The soft billionaire became ripped, okay? And Elon Musk, I'm sure he trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and maybe, martial arts at times. But just looking at Elon Musk compared to Zuckerberg, I think Zuckerberg would have that fight. I'm just trying to be purely objective right here. I'm sad to say, because I would love to see Elon Musk kick Zuck's butt, but I'm not really sure that's what would happen. So I believe that's just a kind of an ongoing joke that Elon Musk has with Zuckerberg, but I could be wrong. But I know one of these ones that you guys were really waiting on here, guys. This is very incredible. The sun froze over. Hell froze over, if you will. Senator John Fetterman showed up in a suit. No one even knew he owned a suit. Or maybe he specifically went out to Macy's and bought one specifically for Netanyahu's appearance before Congress. Look at him. It's a little bit sloppy. You know, he doesn't get a whole lot of practice, but John Fetterman put on a suit for Benjamin Netanyahu. Wow. I guess, man, when you get that hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions, for some members of Congress, it's millions of dollars in AIPAC money, you better put a suit on for the guy, okay? Oh, yes. Congress receives so much money from AIPAC is insane. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. Mike Johnson, this one's pretty interesting, refers to Benjamin Netanyahu, or introduces Benjamin Netanyahu to Congress as His Excellency. Here you go, guys. Yes, the foreign leader here in the Congress, introduced as His Excellency. Listen.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel.
Yes, His Excellency. I did listen to this entire speech, guys. It was pretty wild. One of the more wild parts of the speech is when Congress erupted in cheers when Benjamin Netanyahu asked for more money from Congress. Yes, I mean, guys, this is a foreign leader in the United States asking the taxpayers for more money. Well, asking our representatives to take more money from their taxpayers to support his wars, raising tensions around things that he believes are important for Israel. Now, I'm an America First person. I don't have anything against Israel. I hope they thrive and prosper. But Israel's problems should not be the United States problems, in my opinion. Those are their problems. Let them fix it. Why do we have to pay their bills? But listen.
Give us the tools and we'll finish the job. Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster.
Congress very excited. Like, yes, please take my money. Take my money right now. Please, here you go. Here you go, Netanyahu. Take my money. One of the more insane parts about this speech, guys, I don't know if you guys watched it. I watched and listened to the entire thing. I was sitting at a restaurant. I was sitting at the bar at this restaurant. I was eating wings. Yes, this particular restaurant had all-you-can-eat wings on Wednesdays. They're amazing. They're so good. And I'm sitting there. They had the speech playing on the TV, but there was no sound. So I brought out my phone and I watched it on my phone, listening to it. And one of the things that I noticed almost right away, almost every sentence, Congress gave Benjamin Netanyahu a standing ovation. It was mind-blowing. Like, the guy couldn't say anything without it being the best thing in the world. It's pretty wild, guys. Pretty incredible stuff. There were a couple of accounts that counted the number of standing ovations that Benjamin Netanyahu got from Congress during his speech. One of them said, Netanyahu sets record 55 standing ovations in U.S. House of Representatives. The U.S. and these weren't just like, clap, 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 sit down. No, these were like long standing ovations. The standing ovations probably increased the speech length by maybe, I would say, about a third. It would have been a third shorter if the standing ovations weren't there. And it was, guys, I'm not even lying when I say it's just like, it got a little bit ridiculous at some point. Like, listen, we get it. You guys love this guy. You guys love this guy because the reason why, they don't just love the guy, guys, just because they like him. The majority of Congress gets a lot of money from Israel. That's just the plain and simple. That's why they like him so much. That's why they applaud so much. That's just it. Sorry to say, but the U.S. House of Representatives gave a prolonged standing ovation to conclude Netanyahu's speech, making a record 55 standing ovations in total. This is the most standing ovations given to a president in an address to Congress. So, very incredible. 55 standing ovations. Very, very interesting. I wish our Congress was so enthusiastic about closing the border, about taking care of our veterans, about fixing our infrastructure. That'd be so nice. But no, foreign leader comes from Israel and they just can't sit down. They're just so happy. They're just so excited to applaud Benjamin Netanyahu. But outside was a pretty interesting scene. Police in riot gear were fighting thousands of protesters who were approaching the U.S. Capitol prior to Netanyahu's speech. This was the scene outside the Capitol. Kind of seems a little bit like a insurrection, don't you think? Why isn't this declared an insurrection? Why aren't we getting mass arrests here? Why aren't the Democrats talking about the insurrection here? Interesting. Incredible. So we had many protests. Here's another view of some of the protests. Pretty wild. I mean, there was a lot of people at these protests, guys. Pretty insane. Pretty crazy. So my question is, are we going to see the DOJ and the FBI prosecute all these individuals like we saw the Department of Justice do to the January 6th individuals? I wonder. What do you guys think? Do you think that the DOJ is going to throw the hammer at these protesters for inciting insurrection outside of the Capitol? I would say probably not. But last one on Netanyahu, guys. This is pretty crazy. This is, according to the Times of Israel, is reported on by the New York Times and Washington Post and all these other things. Benjamin Netanyahu apparently brought suitcases of laundry from Israel to wash at the White House. What? Who does this? Wow. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife, Sarah, on multiple occasions, brought with them from Israel suitcases of clothes to be laundered and dry cleaned while staying at the White House guest house. The Washington Post reported Wednesday. But this has been refuted by Netanyahu. His office says the story is untrue. So I wonder who's telling the truth, the Washington Post or Netanyahu. Honestly, I don't believe either of them. I'm just going to be dead honest here. Visitors staying at the White House guest house routinely get their laundry taken care of as a perk, but it usually only consists of a shirt or two, given their brief stays. The Netanyahus are the only ones who bring actual suitcases of dirty laundry for us to clean, the Washington Post quoted a U.S. official as saying. After multiple trips, it became clear this was intentional. But, guys, we have conflicting stories here. Netanyahu's office denied the report. This is recycled anonymous slander from the archives of the Israeli media aimed at blotting out the historic peace agreements brought about by Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. The Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. also issued a statement telling the Post that these groundless and absurd allegations, I mean, they're arguing about dirty laundry, literally. And look how the Israeli embassy is talking about this. It's kind of funny. Like it's like they're blowing this way out of proportion. If the Washington Post said this and it's untrue, yeah, I mean, come on, Washington Post, report factually. But the way the Israeli embassy is talking about these groundless and absurd allegations. Okay, guys, at the end of the day, it's dirty laundry. Okay, relax, calm the F down. Okay. These groundless and absurd allegations are aimed at belittling Prime Minister Netanyahu's monumental achievement in Tuesday's historic peace summit brokered by President Trump at the White House. It noted that during the visit in which normalization deals were signed with UAE and Bahrain, there was no dry cleaning. Only a couple of shirts were laundered for the public meeting, and the Prime Minister's suit and Mrs. Netanyahu's dress were ironed also for the public meeting. So, once again, guys, oh, come on. If it's okay, Washington Post, if you did this and you're reporting unfactually, dishonestly, however you want to say it, bad on you. But once again, Israel, it's just, they're just talking about dirty laundry. Like they are taking massive offense to this. Like it's like this is the biggest thing. How dare you? How dare you say that Benjamin Netanyahu brings his dirty laundry to the White House? What? Why do you care that much? It's kind of crazy. I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that that's a weird response? I don't know. It's just like, why is it such a big deal? Donald Trump had a rally in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was a big one. It was a very big rally. Yes, guys, look at this is the size of the rally in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's bring it full screen. Right there. That is the size. Big rally. Wow. An arena full. Very nice. Very large size rally. Here's a video for you to check out here from the vantage point of Donald Trump. It's kind of 360 here. Let me bring the sound on. USA, USA. Oh, still pulling in those big numbers, it seems. But after the rally, it looks like Donald Trump was watching Joe Biden's speech or address, however you want to call it. Looks like he was watching Joe Biden's speech in Trump Forest 1, and he is standing here very proud, like a proud victor next to the television in Trump Force 1 with a little smirk on his face. This is the first time Joe Biden has addressed the nation since dropping out of the race on Sunday over Twitter. I thought Joe Biden was going to step down as president because he said something along the lines of, "My fellow Americans, it's been my distinct honor to serve as your president." I'm like, oh my God, he's about to step down completely. We're going to have Kamala Harris. We're going to have President Kamala Harris like tonight. But no, that wasn't the case. It would have been a lot more exciting if it were. But we still have President Joe Biden. And hopefully very soon, President Donald J. Trump. We got some good news with a lawsuit that Donald Trump filed against George Stephanopoulos, ABC News. Judge declines to dismiss Trump defamation lawsuit against ABC News. case that was brought after George Stephanopoulos said that Trump had been found liable of the R word, sexual assault, the R word, has been allowed to proceed. A federal judge in Miami has denied a motion to dismiss Donald Trump's defamation lawsuit against the ABC News TV network and one of its star journalists, George Stephanopoulos, concerning the remarks made by the anchor in March that found that the former president had been found liable of the R word. Yes. In a 21-page ruling issued on Wednesday, the judge, Cecilia Altanega of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, rejected arguments brought by the news division and its host. She said that a reasonable jury could conclude that Trump had been defamed, and as a result, dismissal is inappropriate. Good judge there. The decision allows the case to proceed to the discovery phase and possible trial. Wow. Trump heralded the ruling as a big win in a post on his True Social platform. He repeated his offensive moniker for the TV host as Little George Slopadopoulos. I call him Snuffleupagus, but Donald Trump calls him Slopadopoulos. Snuffleupagus just rolls off the tongue so much easier, for me at least. And then he said that the judgment would force the fake news media to tell the truth. As if. The anchor made his contested comment in an interview broadcast on ABC's Sunday news program This Week with George Stephanopoulos on the 10th of March this year. In it, he asked Nancy Mace, the Republican congresswoman from South Carolina, why she had endorsed Trump's presidential run, even though he had been found liable of grape. Just say grape. YouTube doesn't like the other word. But Trump lodged his defamation lawsuit 9 days later. The disputed remark concerned the civil cases that have been brought against Trump in New York by the writer, former Elle magazine advice columnist E. Jean Carroll. Yes. So that crazy woman, Donald Trump, might be getting some revenge against ABC. Elon Musk, this was a few days ago, guys, but I saw this on Twitter. I thought that was pretty interesting. Elon Musk says that you have to admire Trump's courage after being shot, and then he says that there could have been a second shooter. Elon Musk jumping on the second shooter bandwagon. Let's listen to see what he has to say.
I think there's something to be said that America needs a strong leader, and where we have the perception of strength. Now, you have to admire that Trump, after getting shot with blood streaming down his face, it could have been a second shooter. Who knows?
Okay.
Nonetheless, was fist pumping, fight.
Yep.
After being shot.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is not.
He's an ornery bastard. And he's funny too.
Yes, and he's brave. He has courage.
So this was an interview that Elon Musk did with Jordan Peterson that they released on X. I mean, when it was live, I think there were there's like 20 million people watching live. Was it? It was something insane. Maybe that's an overestimate, but it was a lot. I was blown away how many people were watching this interview live. It was incredible. But Elon Musk spreading the dangerous conspiracy theory that there was a second shooter. Oh no. Wild. This is also pretty wild. Logan and Jake Paul, yes, the famous YouTubers, and Jake Paul is now famous martial artist or UFC fighter. They offered Trump millions for the hat that he was wearing when he got shot. Watch this. This is Jake Paul and Logan Paul on their podcast, Impulsive. Listen.
I think I'm going to link up with Trump and then the Bitcoin conference. And then I'm linking up with Whistling Diesel.
Tell Trump $2 million for the hat he was wearing for the attempted assassination and my full endorsement.
But there's more.
But that's my offer.
They have a bidding war.
My bid's $3 million.
Then I'll do 4. I'll do 4. 6.
Oh, Justin, Ken Griffin just called. He's doing 60. He's doing 60 million.
I legitimately would pay with the current money I have now. I would my max out would be like I would pay probably $12 million.
Let's go half.
12.
Let's go half season.
Actually,
Tell him. Let's go half.
12 million, and then Logan Paul says, well, how about this? Let's go halfsies. So Donald Trump, I'm just pushing this out there. If you want to sell that hat for $12 million, the Paul brothers are very interested in that. What a piece of history, though. Because $12 million is honestly pretty low. Imagine in like 100 years what that would be worth. I mean, right now it's probably worth more than $12 million. But imagine in 100 years, that would be worth probably $100 million. Because that is literally a piece of history. I mean, it's kind of hard to look at it right now because we all observed, we're here in the present, but that's a piece of history. It'd be like having Abraham Lincoln's hat when he was assassinated. It'd be similar to that. What is Abraham Lincoln's, was he even wearing a hat? I'm assuming. I always see Abraham Lincoln in a top hat. I don't know if he was, but if we were to have Abraham Lincoln's hat when he was assassinated, how much would that be worth? What would be the dollar amount? I need to look that up. I don't even know. I should have looked that up. I didn't even think of it. Jump into Joe Biden, guys. Just guys, I know you're excited to talk about Joe Biden for a little bit. It's pretty incredible stuff. But Peter Doocy was in a press conference with Karine Jean-Pierre, the French lady. Yes. And Karine Jean-Pierre tells Peter Doocy that she hasn't seen him in a while. And Peter Doocy kind of gives a quip back. But there's something I did notice about Karine Jean-Pierre this time. She seems a little bit more loose, a little bit more relaxed. I think it's because of relief. I think she's relieved. She's like, thank God Joe Biden dropped out. Thank God. So she doesn't really have to hide anything anymore, really. She can just go out there. You kind of got to give it to her. She suffered through all of the slings and arrows of trying to defend Joe Biden, guys. It's pretty disgusting, the job she did, because she basically was a mouthpiece of the administration. She just had to lie through her teeth. But she really took a beating. She had to come out there and run cover for a senile old man and tell the nation that he was okay. He was sharp for years. I mean, she has to be some sort of psychopath, right? But if you watch in this clip, she kind of seems a little bit more loose, a little more relaxed. Watch.
Doing okay, thank you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you guys haven't had a press briefing since President Biden dropped out of the race. So
The president hasn't been.
Doing okay, thank you.
Is she flirting with Peter Doocy? Come on. That's inappropriate. She's flirting with Fox's Peter Doocy from the podium. I didn't realize she swung that way. I thought she swung the other way. Peter Doocy, man. He's turning Karine Jean-Pierre straight. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible feat. But one of the things that Karine Jean-Pierre said during this press conference is that Joe Biden decided to drop out of the race around 1 p.m. on Sunday. He just decided, of his own volition, of course. 100% his own decision. No one else had anything to do with it. But she did say that he spoke with a small group of advisors before dropping out, and that health was not a factor. Listen.
You read the president's statement where he said that it's in the country's best interest for him to step aside. Why is it in the country's best interest for him to step aside? Does it have to do with his health, or
It does not have to do. They have nothing to do with his health. Again, the president's going to speak to this directly to the American people tonight in prime time. I know many of you all will be watching it. There's specials going on tonight. He will. I promise you, he will speak to this directly to all of you tonight. But in his letter, he talked about the country, he talked about the party, he talked about the moment that we're in right now. It is not about his health. I can say no, that's not the reason. But hear him out tonight.
And the president denied for weeks, and you denied for weeks, that he was even thinking of stepping aside. What changed from all those days that he had that message to Sunday?
So look, he's going to address this as well this evening. Let him speak for himself. But here's what I will say. And I think we gave a little bit of a TikTok to all of you. He met with a small group of advisors on Saturday evening, and with his family, and was thinking through how to move forward. Sunday afternoon, he made that decision. It was in a very short period of time, as you can imagine. And then at 1:45, he got on the phone with some of his assistants to the president, some advisors. He let them know, and then minutes later, a letter went out. So it was in a very short period of time.
Thanks, Karine. We believe you. That's probably exactly how it happened. He just decided, he was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm dropping out. But one reporter asked Karine Jean-Pierre if Joe Biden felt bullied. Did Biden feel bullied to drop out of the race?
Talk a bit more about how he's feeling after making such an extraordinary decision, like you said, making it quickly. Did he feel bullied to leave the race?
I'm going to let the president speak for himself. Look, it's obviously it's a historic moment, but a decision like...
So, once again, I'm going to let the president speak for himself. But there are some conspiracy theories about Joe Biden's speech. I just had someone delete a tweet as soon as I clicked on it. That was just wild, guys. I clicked on the link and the tweet was deleted. But some people are saying that Joe Biden wasn't actually in the Oval Office, but that, in fact, it was a backdrop behind him. And take a look at this. So this was not the one I was going to show you, because the one I was going to show you was deleted, but you can kind of see it right there. Is this actually the Oval Office? What's going on here? But in this video, I guess we'll have to just move on to the next one because that last one was deleted. Biden says that he is the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. Yes, guys, he actually said that during his address last night. Listen.
You know, I will keep working to ensure America remains strong and secure and the leader of the free world. I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world.
Are you really, though?
Keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine and doing more damage.
Yeah, they're not at war anywhere, but you pulled out of Iran, and that was disastrous. And now we're in a proxy war with Russia right now, a war that we won't let Ukraine back down from. That's what Donald Trump has professed that he was going to fix on day one. And then, of course, Israel, their war with Gaza right now. The world is almost literally at war. But I'm proud to announce that the United States is not at war. Yeah, you guys just get your tendrils into nations and you control them like puppets. And we have war that way instead. It's the same freaking thing. It's insane. But no, guys, we're not at war. Yes, we are not at war. But of course, after Biden won the primary in every state, Joe Biden succumbs to pressure and drops out of the race. Then he addresses the American people and proclaims kings and dictators do not run the United States. The people do. Oh, really? Is that so? And after he, drops out, after being pressured, after he won all the primaries, Kamla Harris is installed as a Democrat nominee with 0 primary votes. But yet, Biden is saying that the people run the United States. Well, maybe on the Democrat or on the Republican side they do. But on the Democrat side, it seems like the elites run it. The elites and the Democrat leaders They are the ones that install in the nominees. Listen.
The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule. The people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith, keep the faith, and remember who we are. We're the United States of America.
So, guys, it's just absolutely, you watch these people, guys. You watch Joe Biden. The stuff that they say, it's like, does this work on people? Like, does this actually work? They're talking as if, you know, they are against dictatorships. They are for democracy and people being in control of their own lives. The people are the ones that decide our leaders. The people are the ones that get to decide who's going to be the Democrat nominee. When literally Kamala Harris is about to be the Democrat nominee with 0 primary votes. 0. She hasn't received 1 primary vote. She's about to be installed in there, and here in a second I'll show you, even before the Democrat National Convention, where any state can put up a competing nominee. They're rushing this through. So quite literally, the elites are deciding who to install into the Democrat Party. But yet you have Joe Biden, who goes on national TV. Well, I mean, is it national TV? Addresses the entire United States from the White House and talks about democracy and how people should fight against kings and dictators. What? It's mind-blowing. It's borderline demoralizing. Does this work on people? I don't know. But one person that it did work on was Van Jones, CNN's Van Jones. He was very moved by this speech. It was probably the best speech he's ever heard in his entire life. It was incredible. He held back tears as he talked about Joe Biden's speech last night. Listen.
He asked the question, does character still matter? Well, it does tonight. It does tonight. The kid with the stutter did good. He did good. That's a good man. He fell on his sword. He fell on his sword. Most heroes, they fight to the bitter end. He fell on his sword. He's an old guy, but the heart's still there. You know, the words aren't as clear, but the love is as clear. The heart is still there. And I think people need to look at this, because you had somebody sitting in that chair and he wouldn't give up power no matter what. Wouldn't give up power, let there be an insurrection, wouldn't get out of that chair. Even when the people voted for you to get out of the chair, he wouldn't get out the chair. And you got somebody who's sitting in that same chair, showing that character does matter, showing that you can have grace, you can put the people first, you can pass the baton, and you're a bigger person for it. You're going to be more loved for it.
So, yeah, very moved by Joe Biden's speech. And guys, honestly, I believe that these people really believe the words that they are saying when they talk about Joe Biden is fighting for democracy and all these. I don't think that they're intentionally trying to lie. I really don't. I believe that they believe that this is what's going on. For somehow in their heads, reality doesn't match up with their thinking, or they're thinking with reality, or they're thinking with definitions in the dictionary. What they say with definitions in the dictionary, they just go off of pure emotion. So they just feel like Joe Biden is fighting for democracy. They just feel like Donald Trump or Joe Biden is fighting dictatorship. But when you look at it, when you look at these definitions in the dictionary, when you look at reality, it's quite literally the opposite. These are people who have been so gaslit, who have been lied to for so long. They don't even know up from down. It's incredible. But Barack Obama, rather, he tweeted, this is his Twitter right here, Barack Obama's Twitter. See what he's been up to lately. He tweeted after Joe Biden's speech, And he said, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. Joe Biden has stayed true to these words again and again over a lifetime of service to the American people. Thank you. So Barack Obama tweeted about Joe Biden. Of course, we know that I guess these two just don't get along very well, but I wonder if he has tweeted anything about Kamala Harris yet, because remember, Kamala Harris is set to become the Democrat nominee, and Barack Obama is still silent. Let's look here. Let's go back. So after Joe Biden dropped out, Barack Obama tweeted this. He said Joe Biden had been one of America's most consequential presidents, as well as a dear friend and partner to me. Today, we have been also reminded again that he is a patriot of the highest order. So that's what he tweeted on July the 21st. This is when Biden dropped out. Go back. He made a tweet about John Lewis. So that has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. He made another tweet. He retweeted Joe Biden. Looks like he made a tweet about... Yeah, so this was his tweet that he made about Donald Trump when Donald Trump had his attempted assassination. He said there's absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Let's go back in his last tweet, 4th of July. So he hasn't said one thing about Kamala Harris. Very, very interesting. I wonder what's going on between him and Kamala Harris. Very odd. I've heard reports that he doesn't think that Kamala Harris can win. That's what I've heard. So he hasn't endorsed her yet. But I'm sure we'll see an endorsement come out pretty soon. Eventually. Eventually he has to. At some point, they have to have the support of Barack Obama. He's probably trying to fight behind the scenes to say, hey, listen, we can't do this. We can't do this. This is a big, big, big mistake. But when it's set in stone, I believe that we will see an endorsement from Barack Obama. But the DNC is moving fast. DNC moves to hold virtual nomination of Kamala before August convention. This blocks delegates from nominating new candidate in Chicago, despite Kamala receiving 0 votes. Yeah, she's received 0 votes in the primary. She doesn't have these delegates set in stone. She has pledged delegates, but that's it. But they're trying to rush this through and make her the candidate before the actual DNC. And she has received no votes from the American people. It's crazy. This is the Democrat Party. This is the party that's always raving about democracy. Democracy, democracy, democracy. It's kind of like, have you guys, what was that movie where those seagulls flying around? Was it Finding Nemo? The seagulls were like, mine, 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 mine. That's what Democrats are with democracy. Democracy, democracy, democracy. But they have no clue what it even means. They just say democracy. It's just a platitude. They don't know what it means. But this says, the Democrat Party will enact a rule change for the Democrat National Convention that will allow Vice President Harris to receive the party's nomination prior to the convention being held. What? It's pretty wild. What good are rules if you can just change the rules willy-nilly? It's like playing Monopoly with someone. Oh, yeah, I'm going to change the rules that allows me to, land on your property and not have to pay the entire amount. Like, wait, what? You can't just make a random rule change randomly in the middle? This decision comes as a strategic move to streamline the nomination process and is likely intended to avoid any perception of instability within the party. Yeah, good luck with that, guys. I'm sure that ship has already sailed. A virtual roll call will be held during the first week of August to formalize Harris's nomination, confirming her as the party's candidate after she secured support from a majority of delegates without any intra-party challengers. So, DNC looking to rush the nomination of Kamala Harris. Wisconsin voter says she thinks Kamala Harris is an idiot and questions her performance at the border. And this is probably why you see the media lying to everyone and saying that she was never the border czar. Listen.
How do you perceive Vice President Harris compared to President Biden in terms of competency and experience?
I think she's worse. She doesn't even know what's going on at the border.
Right.
And that's what she was supposed to be doing and in charge of. I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy.
Good point. Common sense right there.
It isn't. Not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
Another good
Is there anyone that Kamala Harris could appoint as her vice president that you would find reassuring? Would make you consider voting for her?
No.
No.
I would do RFK Jr. way before her. Same. Absolutely.
Yeah. And she's not the first woman to run for the presidency, Hillary Clinton. I'm assuming no one voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So it's not necessarily going to sway you to vote for a woman in office. When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
Wow.
I don't get a good feel for her.
I think she's an idiot.
Right. Mary, why do you think that she's not that bright?
Because she hasn't done anything in the time that she's had.
So, I mean, absolutely brutal. These Wisconsin voters. I mean, that's just plain and simple. Common sense. Hey, when do you think there will be a woman president? It doesn't matter if there's a woman president or not. It's whether they're competent or not. It's just plain and simple. They always like, well, you don't like this person because she's a woman. Actually, no. Look at Kamala. Does anybody want Kamala Harris, cackling Kamala, to run the country? What? It's insanity. It's not because she's a woman. It's because she looks. You look at her past performance. You look at who she's ditzy. She seems like an airhead. But that's who they want there. That's who they want in the White House. They want an airhead. Because if they had someone that actually had mental strength and fortitude and had, thought for themselves like a Donald Trump, say, they don't have as much control over the White House. It would just be a corporate oligarch. If with a Kamala Harris, it'd be a corporate oligarchy running the nation. I mean, I believe we are that right now, just about. To some degree, I think we always are that. Just the levels and the degree of how bad it is. With a Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, it's like at 100%. They have zero say in what happens. They just give in to the lobbyists, the corporations, the institutions, and then they could, tug of war it amongst themselves. But the president of the United States, if it was a Kamala or a Biden, no effect on anything whatsoever. One of the MSNBC voters says they are concerned that Kamala covered up Biden's mental decline. So it really looks like these normies are waking up to the fact that they have been lied to for years. Watch.
Who do you blame for President Biden being in office in this condition? Who deserves the blame?
His close staff. They work with him every day.
So I think that's what also makes me nervous about the Vice President Harris. Yeah.
Talk about that a bit.
So yes, she's going to be in it, but she also helped keep him in where he's at right now. And if he really is as bad as what they've been saying, I think if he steps down as president and she steps into the presidency before the end of his term, it almost makes me question a little bit more why it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, and you should.
She's worked with him.
Everyone should question that.
To my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to her attention? If she's willing to hide that type of information once she's in office, now what she's willing to hide for herself.
Good point.
Who do you blame?
If she's willing to hide from the American people something that was obvious to everybody, she's willing to directly lie to people and say, hey, no, Biden's okay. He's so sharp. He's cogent. And if you guys watch, Joe Scarborough opens up my show. I got that clip because First of all, I think it's insane that he's telling his audience to go F themselves at 7 a.m. But second of all, after he says F you if you can't handle the truth, he goes into this like several minute tirade about how cogent and sharp Joe Biden is. So that's like a constant reminder to me how much the media lies and how blatant their lies are. They don't care. It could be completely obvious. You could be looking at the sky. They could be saying, oh, the sky is red. And you're like, no, it's actually blue. Look at the sky. I mean, and they will just go with that narrative, even if it's very obvious to everybody that it's a lie. But it looks like these people, common sense. If Kamala Harris is willing to lie about something like this, that's pretty obvious. What is she going to lie about when she, God forbid, becomes the president of the United States? Well, the answer to that is anything they tell her to, anything her overlords tell her to lie about, she will lie about. But moving on, CNN is shocked when Trump's polling amongst black voters are still at historic highs and growing despite Kamala Harris being installed as a Democrat nominee. Watch.
The numbers that came out were basically 77%, or there it is, 76% would go with Kamala Harris, 21% with Donald Trump. Those are historic highs for a Republican, never mind Donald Trump, who I think got, a heck of a lot less than that. What does she need to do in your mind to try and get potentially some of those voters back? And we know that black men are the numbers that are growing for Donald Trump.
Absolutely. So when we think about it, typically Republicans get about 12% of the black men vote and black vote collectively. So we got to shift that 9%.
So they're panicking. Well, I thought putting Kamala Harris in there, running for president, that would make her more popular amongst the black vote. Nope, looks like it's really having no effect whatsoever. So that's good. The minorities are waking up as well. That's incredible. Guys, this one is so funny to me. Check this out. So this is a self-described Trump hater. If you go to her her profile on X, she's a never Trumper, pro-democracy opinion writer at Washington Post. She's an MSNBC contributor, and she has a podcast, I guess. This is Jen Denial Dooms Democracy Rubin. What? This is what she posted on X. She goes, her name is Harris, or VP Harris. News reports calling her Kamala may not be intentionally disrespectful or demeaning, but that is how she is treated. It's wrong. Yeah. What? And then this is even better. She was fact-checked. Well, community noted on Twitter. And I guess, and they provide the links right here. I'm going to go to each one of these. She's done this very thing. So it's just perfect. How hypocritical. So right here, she ran a poll where she called, in the headline of the poll, she says, as I said, no sane Dem is going to run against Kamala. Wait, I thought you said that was disrespectful. So that's just one instance. Let's look at the other instances. So once again, calling Kamala Harris Kamala, that's disrespectful. So this same person, let's see what she said here. She said on July the 21st, Kamala is running against an adjudicated R word. I have no words. Okay, so very disrespectful, Jen. Very, very disrespectful. How dare you say Kamala, according to your own words. And this is the third one. Pitch perfect. Put him on the VP list for Kamala to choose from. Talking about Shapiro. So, just more proof that these Democrats, especially these corporate media types, they don't care if their words are consistent. They don't care. It's just like, oh, I have a good idea. I've had a good idea. Let me say this because I feel like I just had this random thought in my air brain of a head, and I just decided that, oh, you know what? You know what it seems to me? It seems that if you call Kamala, that's disrespectful. Call her VP Harris. And they don't even think back to when they themselves did that very thing. What? I don't know, guys. It's just these people just never cease to amaze me. But last thing we're going to talk about with Kamala, let's go back to Obama for a second. So this is reported on by the New York Post, where Obama says he doesn't believe Kamala Harris can beat Trump, which is why he hasn't endorsed her. Former President Barack Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris' presidential bid because he doesn't think she can beat Donald Trump, according to a source close to the Biden family. Following President Biden's shocking exit from the race on Sunday and his immediate endorsement of the vice president, most of the Democratic elite have been quick to rally behind Harris, but Obama is a notable exception. Obama's very upset because he knows she can't win, the Biden family source told the Post. Obama knows she's just incompetent. The border czar, who never visited the border, saying that all migrants should have health insurance, she cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. When you are running for president, there are things you can and can't say. So Obama, according to a source, I don't know, sometimes, guys, I have questions about these anonymous sources. Maybe, maybe not. But very interesting either way. This was pretty incredible, guys. Last thing we're going to talk about is some stuff related to the attempted assassination. I just got a couple things that are interesting. This one's kind of funny, actually. ABC News reporter says that the government, he slipped up and he says that the government tried to kill President Trump. Listen.
Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas starts us off from Washington. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. Our audience is about to see the frantic seconds in the moments after the government tried to kill former President Trump. It's on police body cam video.
Oh, yeah, guy?
Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas
Listen to this.
from Washington.
Definitely a mistake, but funny.
George, good morning. Our audience is about to see the frantic seconds in the moments after the government tried to kill former President Trump. It's all caught on police body cam video.
Okay, saying the quiet part out loud. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Matt Gaetz, during Christopher Wray's testimony yesterday morning, Matt Gaetz asked Christopher Wray if he, because, Christopher Wray is the FBI director, so he had to have met with President Biden quite a bit, right? Well, Gaetz asked Christopher Wray if he noticed a decline in Biden's health, which obviously if you're meeting with him for, several years and you're probably an intelligent guy because you are the FBI director, I'm sure they don't have just a dummy in there. So you probably notice patterns. You probably notice when someone starts to decline mentally. So Matt Gaetz is asking Christopher Wray, hey, did you notice anything? And it's very interesting what Christopher Wray says. Watch.
Was the shooter on the FBI's radar in any way prior to the assassination attempt?
We did not have any information about the shooter. He was not in our holdings before the shooting.
No communication in any chat rooms, no CIs or confidential human sources have any interaction with?
No, we've run a thorough search for the subject through all of our holdings, and he was not in them anywhere.
If I can get to the spot.
The protection of President Trump.
That's really something.
Diverted from Trump to Bolton. Is that just going to be part of your review?
I think that's going to be part of the review.
Now that this role that you've identified is so critical, be a bad idea to fire the IG for DHS during the pendency of this, right, Mr. Director?
I don't think that would be a good idea.
I'm with you on that. So I want to zoom out a little bit. How often do you brief President Biden?
Here we
go. You mean on this specific case?
No, in your role as FBI director.
I mean, I don't know that I could give you a number.
Is it like weekly, monthly, daily?
It's not at a regular cadence. There have been times when there have been months at a time when I haven't, and then there have been times when several days apart I have. Okay. It's always with other people.
The vice president, is she typically there?
Often has been.
Okay, so when did you notice his decline?
In my interactions, in my role, all my interactions with the current president have been completely professional.
Vagueness.
I mean the cognitive decline. I'm not saying he treated you unprofessionally, just maybe not picking things up as quickly as he used to.
Again, I don't meet with him very often, but what you're describing is not something that I've observed.
Completely trying to sidestep the question, trying to be vague. he switches the question for something that he answers a question that Matt Gaetz didn't even ask him. He says, oh, well, every one of my interactions with Biden has been professional. What are you talking about? That's not what he asked him. He said, when did you notice his decline? This is just like typical for what these institutions do. They try to be vague. They try to talk around in circles. They try to confuse you. They obfuscate. It's absolutely incredible, guys. And it's got to stop. Like, this stuff just drives me up a wall when I watch this stuff. I don't know why I like watching it, because it's just, it's like I'm a glutton for punishment. But it's just crazy. But after Christopher Wray's testimony, Donald Trump came out and he said that Christopher Wray should resign because he did not notice, apparently, Joe Biden's cognitive decline. This is what Donald Trump had to say. He said, I watched the congressional hearing today as Christopher Wray was asked a question whether or not he noticed any cognitive degeneration in his many conversations with crooked Joe Biden. And despite the fact that Special Counsel Robert Hur said effectively that Joe Biden is incompetent with little memory, Wray said that, quote, it is not something I observed during my interactions with him, which were uneventful and unremarkable, essentially stating that he found nothing wrong mentally or physically with Joe. If that is the case, Director Wray should resign immediately from the FBI and stop sweet-talking Congress every time he goes up, which he loves to do, because anybody can see that Joe Biden is cognitively and physically challenged. And if you can't see that, you sure as hell can't be running the FBI. That's actually a pretty fair point, right? If you can't see that with something all of us saw, and we're not meeting one-on-one with the president, all of us saw this, guys, just from clips that we see of Joe Biden. We're like, wait, look here. Look, what's going on with Biden? What's he doing here? If we can all see that, and he is seriously sitting before Congress and with a straight face telling them that he never saw that, this is the guy we have as director of the FBI. That's a little bit interesting. That's a little bit weird. Is he what's a R-worded? Is he that? Is he dumb? What's going on here? Of course, he's not dumb. He's saying that just because it's all political theater, but I mean, he's saying these things before Congress, so we got to take it seriously, right? So that's like a logical question. It's like that begs the question. If he can't see that, and he's literally saying that to Congress, and we got to take him for his word for it, this guy is the one who is the director of the FBI? Wow, that's kind of concerning, right? Is he low IQ? What's happening here? Then he finishes, unless, that is, you want to illegally lead the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Wray has to resign. And now, for a line to Congress. And last one I'm going to show, guys. I thought this was an absolutely perfect representation of how these testimonies before Congress have gone with Kimberly Cheadle, Director Wray, and the Pennsylvania Police Commissioner. This is a perfect meme. Secret Service Director testifying before Congress. I'll have to direct you to the FBI investigation. And this is the FBI Director Wray. I'll have to direct you to the Secret Service investigation. So if that just says it all. I noticed that pretty early on. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. Let's get to the chat. Michelle C. sent me this. She wanted to show all of you guys her puppy, I guess. So that is her puppy. Very, very cute puppy, Michelle C. Very cute. We have a super chat from Two Feathers. Thank you so much, Two Feathers. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate the super chat. I was going to stream Christopher Wray's testimony this morning, but I must have read it wrong on C-SPAN. He wasn't having a testimony this morning. I thought he was. Must have read it wrong. I don't know what was going on. So, sorry for that. So I just ran with my regularly scheduled program. But who else do we have in the chat? Let me see. I didn't even read the whole message from Michelle. Let me see what she said. I just saw something about a puppy and people wanted to see it. This is Sherlock. And Sherlock is a purebred Brittany Spaniel, I guess. Very, very cute puppy. Must have been a birthday present because I know yesterday was her birthday. They're very incredible. Love it. I love dogs. Anthony says, happy belated birthday, Michelle. Yes. Hey, we got Tijuana Border Jumper in the chat. He says, good morning, all. Hey, good morning, Tijuana. Thank you. Jeremy Brummer says, people on video were pointing out that there was someone moving around on the top of the water tower 8 minutes before Crooks was spotted on the roof. Yeah, I mean, we're never going to get full answers, guys. It's just it's plain and simple. We're never going to get the full answers. The FBI, our leaders. So the FBI is not in the business of giving full answers. They're in the business of bending facts to fit a narrative that would not be bad for them or the Secret Service. They're basically a massive institution that just covers their own butt. And our leaders and representatives aren't in the business of actually doing real investigations and holding accountable these people for not giving straightforward answers. There might be a couple of them that are in there that attempt to do so, but the attempts always fall flat. So until something drastic changes with our leadership, we're never going to get real answers. We're never going to get straight answers. This is just, all these testimonies are just to basically satiate the American people. Give them a couple, drip out a couple facts and give them the head of Kimberly Cheadle, who resigned. So now we feel like we got something because Kimberly Cheadle resigned. Oh, wow. That's what we want. We really got a lot from her resignation. And she's going to pull in retirement or she's going to be pulling in $50,000 a year from being let go. Yeah, that's just crazy. So really, did we get anything at all? No. We didn't get any. No one was held to account whatsoever. She lost her job, but really, does that mean anything whatsoever? No, it doesn't. Pete says the investigations are damage control. Yes, you're exactly right. Mama Bear says when you hear the audio of the shots, it definitely sounds like 3 different weapons. Yeah. True. Yuck Food Tube says the radio chatter from the Secret Service spoke about a team going to the water tower. Really? I don't know that. Interesting. Oh boy says, I don't think the FBI thought it would be this hard to try and pull the wool over America's eyes, but we have the internet now, and we can fact check every word they say. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. It seems like they're kind of shooting from the hip right now. I don't think they expected this much of a blowback. Maybe, I don't know. But it definitely seems like there was some anomalies that happened that they weren't ready for. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. Thank you for hanging out and watching. If you could please, before I hop off of here, if you haven't yet, if you could leave a like on this video, that helps me out a lot. And if you would like to catch tomorrow morning's live stream at around the same time, 8:45, 9 o'clock, subscribe to my show. And if you'd like to catch a notification so you don't miss it, hit the bell icon and go down to notifications, and it should notify you. If you'd like to support the show, consider becoming a member. I would really appreciate it. But ladies and gentlemen, hope everyone has a great day. God bless.